ignite, like, share, subscribe. We'll take flight, find us in Colorado. Raising our voice, filming the cops, it's our choice. Making the meetings, breaking the mold. Making the news, the truth be told. On the tube, we spread the word, you people know it's absurd. Free press, we won't digress. Good citizen, yeah, that's our address. Always fighting for what's right, we're the ones who shine so bright.
Let's jump right into it. Let's see, Vern, Gerald, Erlinda, Sarah, Monica, Bruce, and Bob. Oh, and there's Stephanie's back of her head.
That's a legend.
That's turned all the way up. It's their audio that sucks, not ours.
Mayor Pro Tem? Mr. Rojas? Ms. Gilman? Here. Mr. Romero? Here. Mr. Thorne? Here. Mr. Trujillo? Here. Madam Mayor? Here.
On number 4, for approval of the agenda, I would like to add, under number 6, Jade Ray, the CPA doing the audits for the town. Right under number 6, approval of the
regular meeting minutes.
yes.
Amending the agenda again.
Can I get a motion to add Jim Ray to?
She's trying to amend the agenda now.
Motion to add James and Jim Ray to the agenda.
Every time, it seems like.
That's James Ray, that's the.
Yeah, lately, every meeting, she would like to see the agenda amended each time, it seems like.
Roll call.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Yes.
Ms. Gilman? Yes. Mr. Romero?
Yes.
Mr. Thorne?
Yes.
Mr. Trujillo?
Yes.
Motion passed. Approval of the special meeting minutes for November 14th, 2024.
Motion to approve the minutes of the special meeting on November 14th.
November 14th.
Bunch of yes men.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Yes.
Ms. Gilman? Yes. Mr. Romero?
Yes.
Mr. Thorne?
Yes.
Mr. Trujillo?
Yes.
Approval of the regular meeting minutes for November.
What's up, Johnny?
2024.
Can I ask a couple of things? On 17, the Black Hills assessment, and then on 19, Black Hills, is that the same
Yes,
item?
yes, because,
I remember he came back online.
right, and the board decided to just go ahead and approve it.
Okay.
It was the same gentleman. Motion to approve?
I move that we approve the minute meetings, November 21st, 2024.
Second,
Second.
roll call.
Mayor Pro Tem,
Yes.
Ms. Gona? Yes. Mr. Romero?
Yes.
Mr. Thorne?
Yes.
Mr. Trujillo?
Yes.
Hey, what's up? Good to see you.
In your,
Could I bring something up?
Sure.
On, the November 21st meeting, look at number 7.
Appreciate those thumbs up, guys. We're just getting started. See what kind of circus it is tonight.
We just did that twice, right? So we did. Okay.
give your letters from Mr. Ray. Okay, are you ready? Jim Ray?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
So,
go
what
ahead.
I basically like to do is go over these two letters, talk about a little bit briefly what needs to happen going forward.
He gets to use
and then
Zoom.
check in with the town board. I would like to start with the material weakness letter, which is addressed to the Board of Trustees and doesn't have a date on the first page.
This one. It'll say material witness. And no date on it. Okay,
This letter has two material weaknesses in it. A material weakness is the most severe audit comment we can provide to the board. The first one deals with the fact that there just weren't any accounting records to audit for 19 on. There were some numbers in the 2016 to 2018 financial statements, like the utility fund receivables, that didn't change. Cash doesn't reconcile to the bank statements, and cash on the books is somewhere $36,000 higher than what's actually sitting in the bank account at the end of 2021. The town needs to report its utility accounts receivable by customer and by fund. This is one of the numbers that has not changed since 2016. Also, there are no receivables that are booked, but you would expect the town to have some receipts that came in January and February that really belong to the previous fiscal year. There is no listing of accounts payable.
Good to see you, Anarchy.
There's approximately 153,000 recorded for accrued liabilities. One of those liabilities of about $27,000 deals with the utility fund receivables, we believe, and shouldn't be on there. There's no listing of the utility deposits. And a little thing, there ought to be some accrued interest payable for the water debt fund. The town has no listing of capital assets. We've rolled that balance forward. And when we have found a capital asset by doing other procedures, we have added it to the listing. Equity and the beginning balances that were put into the system weren't accurate, required significant adjustment, and didn't tie either to the previous year's.
It'll fix itself.
Or the
Just
audit.
wait.
Those entries were made in 2023 for 2020 and 2021 and 2022. So they were made long after the fact. There's no listing of vacation payable. There's no actuarial information for the firefighter's pension plan. So it's not being able to be reported under GAAP. There was a receipt for more than $60,000 from DOLA that the town's not sure what it was for. In addition, there was no highway user finance report that we could find and add to the audit, which is required. We got an answer from the USDA as to how much the note payable from 2006, 2007 was. It was lower on the books than what they're showing, so we had to increase the loan almost $23,000 and reduce equity. These problems obviously have been going on a while, but the town needs to come up with a long-term solution for this issue, okay? And report that back to the state auditor. And it will also become an issue when we have to do what's called a single audit in 2023 or 2024. Under the rules or the guidelines of a single audit, we need to audit the town's compliance with its USDA and report back to the feds about what's going on there. So right now, the general fund does not have enough money to pay back what the books show it owes the other funds, and neither does the water fund. So we're suggesting that the town talk to the attorney and determine if it can make those differences a permanent transfer from basically the natural gas fund and make those equity amounts whole. Then in addition, we recommend as you look at the 2025 budget, that there's enough revenue to cover the expenditures. As we say in there, the general fund's lost money the last 2 years, totaling about $300,000. The water fund has lost money the last 3 years, totaling about $130,000. So basically, those funds are not sustaining themselves. At the top of page 3, we talked about the audit for 2000.
What a fucking mess.
The town needs to make a decision. It either needs to correct the balances for 23 so that we have good beginning balances, or if it only corrects the balances for 24, we cannot give a clean opinion on the town until an auditor can until 2025. You can see a list of what needs to happen. The tops on that list is a reconciliation of the bank accounts and then recording the accruals for revenues and expenditures and payroll, and then preparing a schedule of capital assets. And that may be the most difficult thing on this listing. We've tried to get a listing of capital assets and no one has been able to provide one. No deletions have been recorded since 2016, so the records are obviously not up to date.
Where's the money, folks?
The next thing that we believe the town needs to do is it needs to implement a system of compensating controls. This we would recommend anywhere, but the town needs to put these in place, to make sure that accounting systems are working. The first of these is the bank and investment reconciliations. The second of these deals with journal entries. We also suggest that invoice documentation be enhanced. And again, as we said above, that the enterprise billing system use the software and report amounts on the accrual basis. Before we discuss any of this, I'd like to go to the second letter, which is required communication to those charged with governance. And it is a summary of what occurred in the audit. Basically, we implemented no new accounting principles the town did in 2021. There's not enough information to be able to determine if the estimates in the county's books are reliable. We believe that the most important notes in the 2021 financial statements are the cash notes and the investment notes on note 3, and then the disclosure of commitments and contingencies on note 9. As you are aware, the USDA has some questions about how the funds from the grant and the loan were expended. It may be that the USDA asked the town to repay the amounts paid for those, and this could have a significant effect on the town's finances going forward. So this, if I was a board member, I would be looking at what the USDA is going to do, keep an eye on that, and make sure the town can continue to function. I would be very worried about what the USDA will do. As we talk about difficulties encountered in performing the audit, obviously we had a lack of documentation, and obviously this is a big issue. You can see the adjustments that we made, even we adjusted the balances that we believe.
Hopefully put all these fuckers in jail.
And those are the adjustments there. We had no disagreements with management. We anticipate that management will sign a management representation letter. And we believe the management didn't get a second opinion from another CPA firm about how to handle a specific transaction. That is a summary, really, of the 2 years or the 2021 audit. 2019, 2020 have been submitted to the state. And as you're aware, the county treasurer has released the property taxes from those states. We need to do some things like get a management representation letter. But after we get approval from the mayor that she's read and reviewed the financial statements, we will finalize those and send to the state. I will tell you, there's not very many numbers in that financial statement that you as a board can rely on. And I think the general ledger, because cash isn't reconciled, et cetera, needs some significant work. That, in summary, is an assessment of where the town is at the end of 2021. Are there any questions?
We have discussed, and I think that we mentioned this to the board at one point. We will put in place a revenue manual so that we can have all the information, where the funds are going to, what funds are coming in. Everything will be on there. It allows revenue forecast and budget analysis, and that way it's easily explained. And
Shit's
we
wild.
don't have the issue that we have now. So if we lose the person doing this, the next person coming in is going to be able to know where everything's at. It's not going to be what we've been dealing with right now. So that's our goal, is to start a revenue manual. They've been
A revenue manual. That'll fix it, guys.
budget. We have Sarah's putting in place with Assist to reconcile 24 bank statements. So we're on it.
Yeah, I know.
We're on it.
Just from our standpoint,
No worries, guys.
and I know there's been some turnover in the board. There are some things, as your auditor, that we're concerned about. We know you're taking steps, but those things kind of have to be finalized and memorialized.
Same old board.
Ability.
From our standpoint,
As of right now, we've not, we've just accepted the budgets and with what we have, the budget and the audits. We've not approved them, we've just accepted them.
yes. Are there any questions or other comments?
Lots of
We
questions.
appreciate being able
Those
to
dumbasses
talk to
up
the
there,
board
not a
tonight.
single
If you
question.
have any questions, please
Just shows
contact us directly, and we'll try
they don't
to
care about
answer
you.
them, or contact us through town staff.
Good night, thank you.
No, thank you. Bye-bye.
Have a good evening.
You too. Good night.
Did you just say that we've accepted the,
No.
2021 grant audit? What was it you said?
I said, the other ones, we have only accepted the draft. And, because, when Angela and I presented the first one, it was neither one of us actually wanted to sign it. We kept saying, so then Jim Ray suggested that we accept and not approve, because that's what we have to go by. It's
It's on
just,
the agenda for tonight, number K, or letter K. So how did we accept it if it's on tonight's?
we didn't accept it. That's on the new,
Didn't you just tell him we accepted it?
the previous ones. It's just been a letter of acceptance that has gone back to him. Because we don't have all the information. There's a lot, like he explained to you.
Can we
there's a
tar
lot
and
of
feather
missing
'em?
Information. And so we're just, so that we could move on with the audits.
So can I get a copy of this draft thing that you were just talking about?
We'll get you one.
Appreciate y'all watching. Thanks for the thumbs up. Sorry their audio's not better. We've been at them for over 2 years
Other
about it.
questions? No? Okay, we're gonna move on to guest recognition. Daryl Hall.
Doesn't look like he's here.
Utility report.
Special guest.
Vern's the only one that asked for a copy of that audit. You know, I think 90% of this board just needs to resign, mayor included.
Yeah, they don't care.
Turns into the board, so March, what we utility report?
Was there something you were gonna bring up tonight? Oh, you needed approval.
Yeah, for the water pump. The water pump.
Anarchy, we voted to fix the sound system too, bro. And they just refused to do it. You know? I mean, listen to this guy. You can't hear him.
For the water pump,
Yes.
$101.99 for 2 years, or $163.99 for lifetime.
Yes, and there's 3 different quotes there. Just wanted to know which one that we should go with. Cause I believe that they were all, I had them all written down as a lifetime. You know, I may not be close enough.
Thank you.
So I tried to get them all to where they were lifetime warranties, but they gave me lifetime and 2-year or 1-year warranty on the water pumps.
Okay,
So I'm not sure on what the board wants to do with that.
How old is the truck?
What's that?
How old is this truck?
It's an 03.
How many miles on it? Do you-
I did not write that down, no, sir. And you gave us estimates? Yes, there
there,
is estimates.
Vernon, his last or second to the last page on his report.
On my report, they should be in there then.
he has
Look, it's Mr. I'm not mowing.
Sunday at the bottom. he wants approval to get the, water pump
Yes,
for the Tahoe.
for the white Tahoe. So we can get that up and going again.
And there's the,
No, we never did.
no, he said he moved
Oh,
through.
I'm sorry.
He's
Sorry,
trying to
I
make a
didn't
motion
listen.
to approve, if that's okay.
But which one are we going to approve?
He didn't get to it. Which one, Gerald?
No.
The lifetime?
Well, there's three different quotes for the white.
Hey, does Gerald even live in the town?
I think the cheapest one was at, AutoZone, if I remember correctly.
All right.
Oh, right, that's what it was, sorry. Now, that's for the 1 year. 146 with lights. Yes.
He runs the town.
Are these all the same water pumps?
It's the same water pump, yes, ma'am.
Which one? Would you like to share that with us?
I would say the one for $99 because the vehicle's old.
But that's only
There's
a
a lot
1
of
year.
miles on it. And
That's only a 1 year warranty though.
how long does a water pump last? I mean, how long is the engine gonna last?
That motor's pretty sound.
How many miles? You don't know how many miles on the
I
vehicle?
can't tell you what the mileage is on it, no.
I would say just go with the 146, the lifetime warranty from O'Reilly. Not that, I mean, it's only, what,
$47 difference
yeah,
for a lifetime.
146.
Yes.
I motion, yes, I motion. Or do I need to reword it?
Yes, please.
I motion to go with the lifetime warranty at O'Reilly for 146 for the water pump. For the 2002 Chevy.
I think y'all should just shut down and go home. I mean, the town's broke, right?
Mayor Pro Tem?
Yes.
Ms. Galvin? Yes. Mr. Romero?
Yes.
Mr. Thorne? No. Mr. Trujillo?
Yeah, I guess.
It's one big government shutdown from the top to the bottom.
Just like the water for the town, it's shit.
Wait, no one asked you that. Sorry. Go ahead. You have a question?
Solar. Oh, wait, that's down here on the agenda. We could bring it up then.
Did we ever get the tire fixed?
No, the tire has not been fixed yet, no. For the black Tahoe, that's for the black Tahoe.
What's the situation with that?
I haven't got a hold of Gerald yet, I've been so busy, but I'll get a hold of Gerald.
That's the one that we talked about vulcanizing?
Yes, yes,
You still, is it still on the vehicle or? no?
yes, sir.
You have a spare you to put on and take that one off?
Yes, yes, I do.
Do
I'll
that.
go ahead and take it off. And
Take it off so I can have that.
Took him a whole month to fix that tire and he didn't get it done.
Now, one other thing I'd like to ask is if we can get a logbook for these vehicles,
I do have,
like the mileage, when the oil's been changed, those things. I mean, I've seen this town go through so many vehicles and it's because maintenance hasn't been kept up on these.
correct, and I do have a maintenance log on it, I will turn it in at the next meeting.
Okay.
I do have a maintenance log.
Yeah,
for that.
keep the mileage.
I got the mileage
fuel
written down.
used.
Do you want him to turn it in, or do you want it just to be accessible?
I would like for it to be accessible.
It's
Okay,
accessible.
that's all you have to do is. just
Forgive
have
me,
it
but is this the guy that was moonlighting from that other town that got fired?
On the desk. You can look at it anytime.
No.
Where we have a crump well that was, needed work,
Number 2, it's up and running.
always how,
They had to,
play out.
they had to replace the pump.
No, this is Rich. He's just the maintenance.
Nothing in here on bills or
They
anything.
didn't know, he just did it yesterday.
Okay, so.
He must have just gotten the parts in and he came yesterday and, went out and fixed it.
Do we have an estimate of what it costs us?
The only estimate I have was what he quoted me that day, which was approximately about 5,000, maybe less. That's kind of a high estimate, but, that's what he had told me that day.
Is that the only estimate we got on it, that took it?
We had to get it fixed.
Well, I know this
I watched him drive all the way down to the end of the main just to turn around to drive all the way back down the other end of Maine.
Mayor, we have to get something fixed, isn't that what, emergency meetings are for? So that we can talk this over and,
So what would you have done different?
Wasting gas on taxpayer money.
we'd like to have the opportunity for the council to make a decision of who we got estimates from. And that doesn't seem to have happened. Yes, it needs to be fixed. I agree. But it seems like the council was left out of it.
I
Called
was
every
under
one
the
of the board
assumption that
members.
they called all the board members.
I spoke to you, Mr. Thorne, I spoke to Mr. Badino.
I think you guys know that. What we're doing is, business behind the town's back. Everyone got a phone call. We were told that, it needed to be fixed. But there's no special meeting called. No one here knew anything about it. We just spent possibly $5,000. And no one even knew what the problem was.
I think we did, what we felt was best for the community. It's our drinking water, and that's our main concern is the people of the community.
She thinks she did what was best for the
And
community.
it
She
needs to
thinks.
get fixed.
Well, if it's for the community and with that big thing, what's it gonna cost to get the Mauricio well running, which is better water?
So those are on hold.
What was best for the community, lying to us about fixing the tanks.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Project report, Ken?
A couple of items, first part of December, the mayor, trustee Mr. Romero, and then with CDOT over here regarding, we met with, Greg Guthrie, he's a planning director from CDOT, regarding the bus stop area here, next to the community center, so that he's doing some design proposals for Aguilar to get that done. We also discussed, he was really impressed with Aguilar, unique, size of a small community. So CDOT is looking for a small community to do some improvements. We discussed talking about improving sidewalks, the curb and gutter, and the Anderson and Aguilar that they want to possibly see funding for it to improve the town of Aguilar. So he's going to come back with some proposals in the 2025 budget. So this way to see what he can do to help Aguilar get this done. The other issue is that Black and Beach's proposal is on the agenda for later on. And Brandon from Black and Beach is here to have discuss this issue with you and any questions you might have. So we'll be on the line right now.
Okay.
Am I missing something else? Didn't we just suspend this contract to renegotiate? No, we didn't do that.
No, I thought you all approved it.
I just want to say fuck Ken Torres.
I've never seen a new contract on it. So why is it working here?
Proposals to sell the river down the river, the town down the river. Sorry.
He's running under Diamond T.
That's what we wanted our contract to read.
Recording in progress.
You guys could do this by phone with each other, the way you usually do it.
So does that mean he's resigning?
No, I'm not resigning, I'm just walking out, I'm not putting up with this shit tonight.
Well, opinions are like, everybody's got one.
So, so have you heard anything back from
I'd have walked out too.
your, revised contract?
I gave it to the attorney.
He actually spoke to the attorney. So
He would have been better off resigning.
We're good with this.
No, we were just waiting to see it.
He's the only one decent on the whole council.
And then there was.
Listen, I don't know if you're listening, but they're fucking Xing him out of the council. They didn't give him any of the fucking paperwork for this meeting. They gave him jack shit. And this fucking mayor right here is having fucking conversations outside of the Open Meetings Act, behind everybody's back, talking to other council members, which is a violation of the Open Meetings Act, right? And then sitting here going, well, we had this conversation. She just approved the $5,000 to get spent for something without the board approval. She can't do that.
You know, how they need the revised, have it revised.
So I thought you had approved, didn't they approve his contract?
No,
We approved to have it
And then-
revised.
Decided that we would send it to the attorney to change, the name on the contract and who he would report to, and take him off of, Cantoris and move to Diamond T Enterprise.
They actually have no idea what was actually agreed upon. Listen to them.
we also talked about the grant writing only and the augmentation fund. At least that's what I thought I had brought up.
And I sent you all a letter stating that he did he was gonna complete whatever building inspections he had. He had another that I told you, that person could not, we didn't have a building inspector, so I told the board in an email that I was going to use Cantoris because that's who I had. The person
Told him.
that had started their construction, and I didn't want it to go any further without being inspected.
Yes.
And that's what I've used him for. The one for CDOT, he's been helping. That was a project he had already started previously. I just hadn't had the time to meet with CDOT. I kept changing the schedule, and so that's where Tim met with us.
It's by design, Kinetic.
Okay,
Are we good?
we're waiting on the list.
Hey, isn't Diamond Cantor's wife's company?
He was supposed to do some other things for us, we haven't heard from him.
He's working on.
So they're negotiating a contract with him to pay her. How does that work?
There's a couple other issues that are on the table that he's gonna take care of, and until, him and well, Adam and Andy both will work on it, you know, until.
Just see Four Corner.
He will share it with us. And I think I wanted to make something clear. I know that Ken does, like with the augmentation fund and that, and I know that Monica brought this up. And, the town will be reimbursed for Ken's work and Jerry McDaniels. And those are, I met with, USDA.
We want this whole board recalled.
On December 11th. And, we met here and Sarah. And so I believe we will be going back to work. And,
Good to see you, Taptios.
January, if the weather's permitting. this was called a reintroduction meeting. So, Gerald couldn't make it, he was invited, but the attorney, nobody, it was just me, well, actually, they wanted to meet me and, USDA with 3 of SGM's representatives. Cam and Jerry McDaniels have the punch list. They have everything that needs to be done. They've talked to the attorney, and so they know what it's gonna take to get this completed. And they know that going forward, the town of Aguilar will be reimbursed for a lot of these items, the water hauling, just a lot of things that the town has actually paid for out of their funds. They shouldn't have been, but they did. And then, I told SGM to give me a month and see where our finances were and start reimbursing them for that $155,000. And I told them, you know, we can't pay you all at once, but we will pay you some, start making payments, and they were okay with that too.
It's just more misappropriation of funds.
So we'll see what happens next month. Anything else?
The Walsenburg payment plan, except for water.
No office report?
We have, she had under office report, the town collected, well,
I
tomorrow.
bet you the water tank's not fixed.
28,000 from HUF, which is the Highway Users Fund Tax. We've already collected, a couple of days ago, we collected $13,788.51. So it'll come to a total of $42,652.64 that we have collected on the Highway User Fund. Sarah worked on that little project and she was able to get the paperwork all completed. We received, I picked up a check for the one Jim Ray said, the 2020 audit. Yeah, because the 21's not done. In the amount of $82,017.14 in property taxes. I closed out Bank of the West, which is apparently known as BMO. I closed that account out. We had $600 and some, I think, in there. The only thing was coming out of there was our
EV Day, they'd be ripping us off.
And then I closed the account and they gave me a check, which we have to deposit for $122.40. So right now we have one account that the town will be using. And that's the one in bank that we're signed on. We received a check from CIRSA for $21,100, and that was for that tractor. We received sales tax for $17,573.
They got $21,000 for a tractor.
This week or last week, and Monica is going to look into some funds that's due to town.
The tractor in the bottom of the sewage pond?
Yeah, an insurance claim. Years later.
For lottery, we still don't know that one yet. We're working on it. Anything else?
You mentioned something and I wanted to respond to it in a senior moment.
Did they figure out whether it was actually in the sewage pond?
Exactly my point. And I find it funny how Erlinda can't deal with anything that happened before she was sworn in, but yet she'll collect that insurance money from the tractor years prior to her getting into government.
Building
Just
inspector.
added to the money that's gonna come up missing apparently, and allegedly.
Yeah, no shit. It'll be gone. No worries.
Did you talk to Andrew?
I have not yet.
It'll end up like the other $30,000 that they got and didn't know where it came from.
I haven't talked to him. I can call him tomorrow if you guys want to go ahead with him or, and see if he's still interested.
Ken inspected the property he's doing. He went and he did it, and Ken said his foundation and everything was good. Ken has experience in that area.
My only question is, if you get.
No, they said boiling won't help the water.
He's the inspector, if he's working for, the person he's working for and they're doing, you can't, it would be conflict of
That's
interest.
where that's where I used Ken on that email that I sent all of you. That was where I told you.
We're definitely spending extra money on water every month just to drink.
Whatever other projects that, pertain to the company he works for. And that was the only issue. Does the town want to make a motion to go ahead and accept Andrew Holtz and hire him as the building inspector? Or
They're good old boys.
what would you like to do?
You only have to pick the CAD, right? Yeah, and the only problem there is, and you've got that problem solved by Ken doing the inspection on the house he's building or whatever he's building, because he can inspect his own stuff,
Correct.
and we're all aware of that.
But doesn't he works for, the person he works for, is he able to inspect, do the inspection for that person's property as well? Or job? Wouldn't that be a conflict of interest?
That would be, and that's where, but I'm not real sure. This is where I chose to use Ken because of his knowledge in construction and
She
he
chose.
was available to do instruction on the project that he's working on now.
Okay, so if we go with Mr. Holt and say he has, friends or the person he does work for, if they have any, inspections coming up, then he would not be able to do those. Then we would have to, ask Mr. Torres.
We could utilize, Ken again, and I think I need to make it clear. The money
Appreciate
that
y'all
is
coming in.
recommended
Thanks for the
is
thumbs up.
half
Double tap
of
the screen.
the permit or the inspection that they do.
So he would be doing that, getting that instead of.
Yes. So like he went and he inspected, and so whatever the permit was, then he gets half, and then the town gets the other half. That's where he gets paid, and that's where Mr. Holtz will get paid.
Okay.
It's not actually coming, it wouldn't come out of like to say that we're gonna go ahead and just, so it's gonna come out of that revenue there.
Okay.
So do we agree to use, to hire Andy and use Ken to inspect whatever properties he works on?
As the alternate.
To do his inspection.
So the town would pay him half of what it costs for a building permit?
Whatever the
Or
permit
is it
is.
like 10% for the building permit? Half?
You need to put that in a form of motion.
Yes, please.
I move that we approve
Hire
our
Andrew Holt.
Yes, Andy Holtz.
Whose properties are they talking about inspecting?
And he has a conflict if he's the contractor, then Ken will have to do the.
Make sure you put up your no trespassing signs so they can just walk right by them.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Roll call.
They should probably just inspect their own infrastructure and get their water tap off of my property to the curb where it's supposed to be.
I'd like to make a comment for whatever it's worth. As far as the money we spent on that well, it was in dire need. We had to get that done. And it's not like there's a number of people available that do that kind of work around here. Therefore, that's why we had to go with Andrietta.
And they're very familiar with this.
And they're very familiar with this.
And I let Mr. Thorne know that. I told him so.
I don't know why he's always gonna be so negative. Anyway.
Okay, so, okay, water heater.
He said I'm stuck now.
That's okay. They're in the packet somewhere. And before you approve one of these water heaters, let me tell you, the community center has offered to pay for half. So whatever this price is, we will pay half.
Is it gas or electric, do you know?
Yes.
Yes.
I could, three? Yeah, three. Lowe's, Home Depot, and Ace Hardware. Ace Hardware would be ordered, I saw, because I use my app on my phone, and so that could be ordered if, and then they would deliver it to the hardware store, so whatever you decide on. Keep going.
The only one that we have here that we don't have to drive out of town to pick up is the one from Ace, but everything else we gotta go pick it up.
But Lowe's offers a free delivery.
But they have a radius of where they deliver to for free. And then there's also, a company in, Trinidad, D&B Plumbing. They also do install. Did you find it?
I don't get it. I mean, they haven't put Robert's gas back on. Why the fuck do they need heat? Let them go without.
There you go. I don't know what the price is for a water heater from D&B Plumbing, but he would install it. They also install.
Do you have any plumbing experience,
Him.
Rick?
Oh.
Rick?
Yes, I do.
During your lunch.
Does anybody have an idea what the Mauricio well is?
Tap, you're looking at about 500 residents in the town here.
Will anyone take the old heater or do we have to get rid of ourselves?
Gears will probably take it for free.
And it's just a dog chasing his tail every meeting, Tap. It's the same thing over and over and over, spread over maybe 3 different meetings. We've been covering these guys for a few years now, and they've accomplished nothing. Not a single fucking thing has been done right. They don't even know how to create an ordinance. It's a pathetic little place, and they think they're tough.
Are you talking about the
Yeah.
1
It's comical, really.
6 years?
The 475. It comes with a 6-year warranty.
The mayor said that tank was going to be fixed by December. The augmentation pond was going to be done by December. She's just a lying bitch. But nobody's paying attention, so she gets away with it.
Lowe's has a signature 140 gallon tall, 6-year warranty, 40,000 BTU.
If you try to speak up, then they get tough with you. You know what I mean? I got a story coming out here soon, Tap, where I was jumped. In court right now, finishing up things. Then we can talk about it. Is these people right here don't like what we do. So if you go against them, then they're going to go against you. And, well, they like to use violence. And when their violence fails, they're the victims. Right? Fuck around with somebody who will defend themselves and then cry.
The free delivery by the 10th of January.
Just wait till those videos come out, Tap. You'll love that shit. You people's got a little bit of it over there on his channel. And the lady directly said it was because of her job. So we'll finish that case up here quickly, and then we'll talk about it. People are afraid to protest, bro. They're scared to hold a sign, scared to grab a megaphone. I gotta bring out-of-towners in to do it. So we brought in Lady J and Amazing Audits, and the councilman who's missing up there tonight, the empty seat up there on the left, he assaulted Mr. Amazing, all on video. No charges, no nothing. Mr. Amazing went to the hospital, back injury. Dude who assaulted him is like 80 fucking years old, bro. They just get away with it over and over.
I'm gonna give Stephanie my phone and then she can go call those real quick and ask them.
I can go call real quick and see. Can I just have a paper so I can get exactly what?
Keeping it gangsta.
Hey, look, isn't that the wife of the Outlaws?
The Outlaw Boys.
If you see it right there, Scott, pick up.
Might have to arrest me again if you know what I'm saying. Ha 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 ha.
It wouldn't be available till
Where's Johnson?
The real Grande Johnson. Please stand up.
Wonder if that lady ever got her package back that was delivered to Stephanie's house.
Hey, the cops are there right now too, yo. They're sitting back there. There to protect the board.
Home Depot's got 47 in stock.
Much are they, without me looking
They
like.
gave $23 difference from Lowe's to Home Depot.
Now it's got January 21st for that 475 at Lowe's.
Well, there's your answer. They just kept the package.
We'll see what she says.
Hey, they're the Grinch. What can you say?
22nd. And the other day when I went in there to check on the water heater.
So a package got delivered to the office lady's house, and instead of returning the package, they kept that shit.
It has hot water in and it doesn't.
Represent.
Tapatios, the only thing they care about is themselves.
Hey, but I'll tell you that package is probably like all those boxes of paperwork that came from the town hall. That shit's long gone, y'all.
It's not that it's hard, it's, who's gonna do it?
Go pick it up. We'll go pick it up. We're all looking for it. Okay.
There are a lot too. I mean, I'm sure we can get it picked up.
Yeah, it's not, it shouldn't be a problem.
Allegedly, the husband and son thought it was stuff to mix their little dealings with, so they just decided to keep it. They thought it was like, you know, the peroxide and everything else to make them mix it.
How long's the water heater when you're picking it up?
Yeah, that's the new mayor, Tapatios.
For a water heater, so.
Been in there, I don't know, 6 months-ish.
Hey, isn't that the same mayor that was told not to go up to Denver, Colorado, and then spent 3 days in a luxurious hotel at the taxpayer's expense?
January 22nd.
And we need a clear map, right?
We do.
I don't know, just asking, do we need a clear map?
We do the water center.
There we
Yeah,
go.
she's a known liar.
She'll tell you when she comes up.
We've got rid of a lot of them over the years, Tapatios, but it's a rich family history here, as you can imagine, in such a small town where nobody else is welcome or allowed. So the gene pool, well, so it's a small town. Most of these people are related, or Linda probably wiped her ass or something, you know, like, yeah, just the way it is. And, you know, if you're not from there, then you don't belong there.
And that one for $4.99 at Home Depot, they have apparently 40.
I wonder how long they're going to spend talking about this fucking water heater. Like, guys, these guys are like hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt, and they're just spent the last 20 minutes talking about a fucking $300 hot water heater. Like, big life decisions here, guys.
Listen, you got to be careful. They have to earn their paycheck for tonight's meeting.
Oh, Tapatios, if you only knew, brother. If you only knew.
I don't know if it's flex connections or not, I'd have to look at it.
Yeah, check it out.
If it's flex line, it's easy just to disconnect and reconnect. It's gonna be easier.
I hear the audience talking.
Right.
Bob's
Must be
number
saving.
one. Asshole.
Must, Must be hearing what they want from them if they're not throwing them out, huh?
I make a motion that we go with Home Depot.
The one for $4.99?
Yes.
They steal the money and then use it to put hits out on us. That's how the system works.
Is that a motion?
Yes.
And then you get different departments that like to cover it up.
Ms. Gilman? Yes. Mr. Romero?
Yes.
Mr. Trujillo?
Yes.
That poor boy was just trying to stop him.
Tell her we took care of it.
First step, she's gonna go to this season.
Right. I'll meet you halfway. Mauricio will.
They know better, Tapatios. We got a good support system. They don't want everybody coming to town.
There's two. There's Kara and Lisa. Pardon me, Sarah.
Let's hear it.
Sarah again. Sarah and then Sarah will tell you what we did the other day with her. Sarah.
Oh, look, they're going to vote themselves a Christmas raise.
You'll tell us.
Oh, look, they're gonna go themselves a Christmas raise.
Sarah. Sarah. And then Sarah will tell you what we did.
No, that's.
We got a driver and we're going to Home Depot.
Okay.
Don't worry, Mauricio will right now.
Someone with veteran, you'll get 10% off.
Mr. Romero.
You'll get 10% off the water heater if you buy it with that veteran ID.
Hundreds of thousands, dude. Hundreds of thousands. You know, we do it everywhere. It's our money. We want it back.
You gotta get 10% off.
It's our money.
I go in my car, I don't like going in the truck because it rubs gas. Sometimes I take it.
So we're gonna order it and pick it up. Do we need to go home?
Yeah, we did that.
We did.
Right? Yeah.
But we were waiting on Stephanie.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. So what are we doing?
Stephanie is a thief, and Sarah needs rehab, so I'm told.
We should. So we can actually pay for over the phone, correct? For
We may be able to, yeah.
and then we can build the community center.
So we have a Home Depot account?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
have a Home Depot account.
So we can, probably just order online and then.
Oh, now they have a Home Depot account.
Sales tax, but when I.
Funny, that didn't exist a couple months ago.
Then they'll take it off if we order it online. So if you get for maybe like Sunday, we can go pick it up Sunday. If you need it for pick up order.
This guy waving his arm about. I forgot to mention something on my report. That wasn't in there. It has to do with the
Does anybody else just hate it when she talks?
motorcycles ride and all that right behind the,
Oh yeah, her voice, dude.
yes, there is a bunch of trash. People have been dumping trash out there again. And I was gonna see if there's a way that we can shut that down to where nobody can get in there.
Mayor's voice. Oh my gosh.
Somebody's old fence.
I think they took it out so they could get four-wheel.
How about if I took the backhoe and dug the gas holes back there, or excuse my language, if we dug like a trench where nobody can drive in there?
Then there's a liability if somebody goes in this first, then the town could be.
So I don't think. It's not even supposed to be down the road, is it? I know the cabins use it, but I
But
don't
they
think
use
it's,
it all the time, that's,
I don't think it's supposed to be in there.
no, nobody really should be in there. But I'm saying that there's a bunch of trash in there, not only is there tree limbs, but there's trash, tires and
So
couches and everything else.
they were getting on.
Trash. Mayors and council persons. Trash everywhere.
Well, Mauricio, well,
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of it. They're sitting in the chairs right in front of us.
Tep deals, bro. Years of it. This is the Wild West, bro.
they left
I
the-
guess to get it
For
up and
sure.
running again, or
I don't like it.
we're just waiting on.
Well, when we get to Kara, she'll let you know where we're at.
We have all the parts.
We have all
the
this
parts,
stuff that
everything.
they're gonna present to you, so. But, I don't know, Vernon wanted that on there, I don't know why, but
That's why you wanted to find out when we were gonna get the well back on board.
We just have to have them come down and.
when we had the money, and we hadn't had the money,
And one of
that's
the,
all that was.
one of the things that I wanted to bring up is before everything happened, there were 7 well water sources that the town was using. Now we're only down to 3. So we're gonna wear those crazy pumps out. We're gonna have to start replacing those pumps too. So we need to get all those other wells back online. You know, Hill, the gallery, the very west and the Trujillo Creek.
I don't know that we can on the Trujillo Creek or the very west, so I'm not sure. I mean,
Well, the very west caved in, it needs to be re-drilled, Bob.
Well, aren't they gonna drill in Mauricio also? They're gonna go deeper, aren't they?
No,
It's already, they have to add more pipe
they
to
just
reach
gotta add
down
pipe up there.
and then put the pump in. That's it. They've already got we have all the parts, everything that's needed to get it
And you're
done.
gonna drill down there to get the pipe in, don't you?
We're just gonna add
Karen?
more what's in there.
I believe that what needs to happen is put a new pipe, add more pipe at the bottom, because it's already drilled deep enough. So you just add more and then you put a pump on top. The short description is that y'all worked with Sarah, with our CAC to submit a grant for $25,000.
That's what we were getting at when they were gonna get up and talk. We put in, she worked with us and, did a grant. It's an assessment grant and it was only available for the month of December. And so she helped us do it. So we'll find out in February if we qualify. And that was on the list, Mauricio Canyon, to get it repaired.
I think we did, it was, the pumps and then,
The front,
yeah, and then we also talked about maybe
Meters.
some meters and some contracting, for meters.
I can talk more about the assistance grant when I get up.
Where are you on the agenda?
E,
Mhm.
under E.
she's on there. So there's where we're at with Mauricio Well.
Mhm.
We good? Under new, renewal Ringo's liquor license.
I move that we renew Ringo's liquor license.
I second it.
Roll call?
Mr. Kemp,
Yes.
Ms. Galvin,
Yes.
Mr. Romero,
Yes.
Mr. Trujillo.
Yes.
What? No pictures or nothing? No
They're not
delay?
accomplishing shit.
That would be neat.
Sure, if you'll come up and, give us your name and a little bit about.
It's a big circle jerk.
My name is Jack Wells. Lived here about 3 years now. Looking for a way to contribute to the town itself. I do have some experience. I've built a few dozen roofs. I've done some inspections, but I've never done anything like law enforcement. And I don't consider, in my reading of the description, I didn't think this is being a law enforcement job so much as it is community improvement job. And if I have to help somebody with a write-up, so to speak, or a notice, all I'm doing is helping them get their timetable going. So they can fix whatever the problems are. Otherwise, I'll be
read, there's really not much room in this description for, just personal autonomy. I don't really make any decisions on this. What little bit of, authority there is, I won't abuse. That's probably about it.
Questions?
How would you feel about attending, court hearings?
Well, this guy's not getting hired. He respects people's rights.
Customer or citizen, how would you handle it?
Broad question. If I had a problem, physical confrontation, something like that, simply remove myself. I'm not there to beat anybody up or force anybody to do anything. That's not what I do. But otherwise, this may seem strange, but one of my best qualifications for this is I spent a year selling weed at a store in Trinidad. People from all over the country, generally happy, but all kinds of different attitudes about everything you can imagine. And one thing I truly enjoy was simply listening to the people. And they talk about a lot of things. They always come here to talk about weed or whatever. But the ability to communicate with people quickly, instantly, form a rapport, and explain the situation, explain how compliance leads to good things. Don't make me start writing things up. It's not gonna, nobody benefits from that. Not the city, not the customer, surely not me. So as far as how I handle complaint, back away, be calm, explain the situation as best you can, and put it in writing, document the situation, and then bring it to the council and say, this is what we got, what do you guys want to do? And I believe that most of the things I would be writing code enforcement on is subject to a $300 fine, repeating daily. And, you know, they got 10 days to fix most of their problems, 30 days in some cases, and then I have to move. I have to, you know, I'm making a big assumption here from this. I assume that there's a method in place, a procedure in place for when things do have to happen, like I have to get somebody's car towed because it's not where it's supposed to be. You know, follow the procedure and everything. Don't make any, once the timetable started, treat everybody exactly the same. No personal animosity towards anybody, ever. It's about how I would handle a problem. Just explanation, back away, document, treat everybody the same.
Do you have a valid Colorado driver's license?
Yes, I do.
And one of the problems that I'm having is, what code is he gonna enforce if we don't have one?
We have an ordinance book, don't we?
Yeah, but there's nothing in there that covers code.
Actually, I read the book.
Did you?
Yeah, it's out here. It's got quite a bit of code in it.
The black one?
The blue one. He's talking about the same one. On that one, you asked about chapter 3.
Mhm.
There is no chapter 3. It has chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3 is reserved, and then we go 4 to 21.
Mhm.
But there is no, why past forward did that, I'm not sure.
Not sure either.
That's where nobody pulled it out, but chapter 3 is reserved.
Okay.
He was in here reading it yesterday.
Brad, I wanted to, before I came in here and say, I want to be code enforcement, why don't I take a look at the code I'm offering to enforce? It looks like actually a great opportunity for me to help the city, not so much for the city, for me. I mean, I'm just your average guy.
You are aware it is a part-time job.
Yes, I understand it's roughly 20 hours a week. Or
It,
the lesser.
it may vary.
Pardon? Anything by the time it comes.
Yeah. But then you may change too, so.
Right, so the 20 hours a week, if that's where we're starting at, I'm open to going up or down, either way.
It also may become a temporary position.
I was looking for a job when I asked for this one.
Thank you.
Am I missing a rate of pay that you
I
were
think I
asking?
put in $20 an hour, that was ballpark, I don't know what you guys pay, no clue. Well, there you go.
Let the building inspector
Good question. Is he a local?
reimburse them for half of whatever permits are issued. And he gets half and the town gets the other half.
Mhm.
Would you be willing to work on that idea? Where if you write up a ticket, you come into court and there's, money's involved and you get half of whatever was said.
No, whatever the fine is.
So what you're asking him is, does he want to do what we do with, the building inspector?
Right.
I don't know that that's, we could look into it, but I don't see that that's in the books.
It ought to be kind of difficult too, because you have more of a legal situation there.
I don't know, if something we could look into,
I would feel a conflict of interest in some ways with that. I really would.
That would be kind of hard, because if he's, just an example, but if he's writing, notices and people
Correct.
are correcting it right away, how is he gonna get?
Then he doesn't get anything for it. I don't know, I'm just, saying it sounded pretty much like what we do with the building inspector, and I don't think that would work.
No, I don't think so. After what you just said, I agree with you. Okay.
So Jack, if it was, minimum wage, would you be willing to do that?
No.
No?
What would be the minimum you would accept?
Well, I put down $20 an hour, I guess that's what I would accept. But if I knew it paid 25, I would have put that down, so. But, again, I hadn't read that portion. So there it is.
What did you start the last one?
He was at minimum wage, and he did code enforcement, building inspector, and emergency manager, but he wasn't making only minimum wage.
And that's what I looked at also. I did some investigating on the internet. They do start off at minimum wage.
Code enforcement does.
Code enforcement does.
What is minimum wage?
It's 14 something an hour for right now, but it's gonna change
I think
in
it's
January. It's
14,
gonna go up.
yeah, 14.42, and it will increase in January. I'm not sure what that will be yet. I don't know. A few weeks. But right now it's 14.42 an hour.
And Jack, we're a small community. I mean, we would love to pay like the bigger cities, but in a way, we're unfortunate right now. We have some financial situations we're in right now.
The $32,000 light in your general bank account, yeah, I can see that. Yeah, that'll be fine. I'll do it for the city. I'm doing this not because I can't make money elsewhere. I've run my own businesses before and I can make money. It's because I want to contribute here. I've just retired. My wife's retiring next month. Part-time job here where I can make things better.
Oh, it's so funny that we're $32,000 in debt.
Minimum wage is what it takes for me to make a contribution. I'll do it.
Bet the office workers are getting paid though.
Mr. Romero?
I can't believe these skeezy mofos just laughed at that.
I can't believe you're surprised by that.
Okay, can I get a motion?
We have another one.
Oh, there is? He's here?
You're talking about Zachary?
Yes.
He's not here.
That's what they said.
Did you call him?
I think he knew. I did call him.
And minimum wage will be going up to $14.81 January 1st. I don't know if that makes a difference, but.
It's gone with 15.
Do we have a vehicle that this person is gonna be able to use?
I'll have the white Tahoe up and going next week.
Also, I mentioned to the girls if we could find, the town logo so we can get some details to put on the vehicles that they drive so that the people know.
Yeah, the town logo on the vehicle is more important than anything.
There's also yellow lights too. Yellow flashers.
Mr. Thorne volunteered to put the Aguilar logo on each one of the vehicles. And nobody took him up on it. And he just left out, so I'm not gonna ask. But if we can do that, that'd be good.
Okay, so, I guess you'll get the Tahoe running,
Yes, ma'am.
the white Tahoe, and he can use that. I don't know, whoever you're gonna hire, I don't know what you're doing, you know, we have to get a motion and decide.
They can't afford 20 an hour, but they was paying the office lady's husband 22 an hour to supervise himself.
I spoke with him day before yesterday.
He is a local. He lives in town.
Know that we were doing interviews and told him it was tonight. And he said he would be there.
But like Dan said, he's not going to violate people's rights, so he's really not worth paying, you know?
Okay, so can I get a motion?
Code enforcement is a mission,
Hire
and this guy might not do the mission.
or table or whatever it is that the board decides they want to do with this.
I guess we're gonna get the bright side. At least the kid Zach was smart enough not to show up.
I think after the first of the year.
Because I definitely think we need to identify the vehicle, you know, so that people see this vehicle being drove around, they, oh, here comes the cop. You know?
We also have the black Tahoe as well. That's also going.
That one still has emergency on it, right? Isn't that,
There's lights still on it, but I don't know if they're
does
working.
it have 911 on it also?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that was purchased for the marshal, and I don't think that it should be used for daily use unless it's used by the marshal, unless we absolutely have to.
Because I know we have like 3 Marshall vehicles.
So I think the Tahoe would be fine. So,
Does this require a background and drug test?
yes,
However, the building inspector. thinks
that
it's-
one also, I was gonna tell the girls that they need to contact Mr. Holton, have him go do a drug test. So, motion to hire,
I make a motion that we hire Mr. Jack.
at $15 an hour, provided he passes.
Let me ask you about that. Marijuana, is that a problem?
Yes,
You ain't
it
on the
is.
job. No, I mean, but if I got,
No, if the drug test comes back positive.
This is what inbred looks like, in my opinion.
So if you don't pass the drug test, then,
well, no, it's not waste your time.
okay.
Allegedly.
know, that's a part of our hiring process. Thank you.
Well, that's that.
For the other gentleman that still applied. we could
Or
try to
go ahead and
contact him.
advertise it again if that's what you choose to do. Make a motion to advertise.
I motion to advertise it again.
Second.
Mayor Pro Tem? Ms. Gilman? Yes. Mr. Romero? Mr. Trujillo?
Yes.
Did you know this teenage guy and asked him?
Yeah, I'll call him again.
Well, I think if he wants the job, he will show up. Okay, Mr. Coca.
Yeah, I had a couple of questions. One, I know we sent some bottles off to the post office. And Colorado Analytica mentioned to me that that's probably the worst thing we could do. But I know you guys don't have a UPS account or FedEx. Because some of the samples, sometimes they have to be there overnight. So I didn't know if you want to do a UPS. I mean, it's not like all the time we have to get those. I mean, I don't think next year.
Well, I think the issue here is you're the one that's supposed to be delivering them, so if you're gonna take them to Trinidad and send them UPS or however.
It's the cockroaches.
How we'll move forward. Do they have a FedEx in Trinidad?
No. You drop them off at Safeway and they'll pick them up like about 2 o'clock. But they have to be on a FedEx account. So.
I mean, you know, they've done it before and it's worked, correct?
Actually, the ones for Commerce City that had to go there, I believe Derek would drive them up there. So we've only had the problem with mailing them now that we're doing it here.
This week,
What kind of balls are we talking about?
we had to do water samples that were due,
By December 31st.
right? And so in order to be in compliance, we have to get them all.
Well, what are we taking the equipment?
That's a monthly.
That's a monthly.
So these have to be done at Colorado Analytical and it's in Commerce City.
And it has to be done during the week?
As long as they're there before, they can't get there like on a weekend or something.
You can't drop them off on a Friday, so there's certain times we can get them to the lab. And I mean, worst case, if, I know there's UPS in Walsenburg, we could always take them there, but I mean, as long as we got them
New York City.
get them out in time, they should get there. Even this one you're talking about, it has a 10-day, 14 days it can sit, so it does, I mean, it's fine, even if it's not there today, it's just that we need to get on top of getting them and not wait until the last minute.
Kira?
I think the real issue is which hold times apply to which analytes.
Yes.
So what I would recommend doing is identifying when you have a short hold time and working out a process to get it there within a day. I think this will probably be 1, maybe 2 samples a year, right? Because what you dropped off this week was a significant amount.
And I think it was for 3 years, samples that are due every 2
Right.
We don't take kindly to people who don't take kindly around here.
Is the nitrate a short hold? Or were they, I think anything we dropped off should be fine this time around.
Yeah.
What I would do
I
is
actually had to reship out the Gallipan yesterday, so that one,
with the bottle.
not sure, I'm hoping the state's gonna give me a break because it's the lab. Not me.
I
And
think
it wasn't
really-
Marty either, because we would have gotten it there in time, you know, it's just, they weren't able to use the bottle it was in, and the other place couldn't test it.
Marty, did they say what samples they're concerned about?
Colorado Analytica told me, I think it was the nitrate, it had to be there within 24 hours or 48 something.
I think nitrate's 48, so I would just work it out out when you'll have to do the overnight. Cause it's not worth paying for it on something you've got 20 days for a whole time. Right? Sorry to interrupt.
No, thank you.
Okay, and then I know when I, put in about like, getting the samples, taking the Pueblo, I know you took some, I took one, the other day to Pueblo. And like these other ones that go up to the, like the lab there, it's sent off.
Mr. Romero also said that he could occasionally take it too.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, on my Pueblo, I go up there and then also said, like if there's an emergency thing, like I've been here 4 times on the water meters, 2 times on one over there on, was it Cottonwood? Cottonwood. Yeah, and then another one over here. But then I know you had asked me about if I would kind of help Rich out coming on the weekends.
Right.
And I mean, I didn't mind it, but like the other thing, I'm not getting paid for it. That was something, we never really talked about. I just felt bad for him that, cause I'm wasting gas up here, wasting hours coming up here.
I thought he was supposed to be getting paid for whenever he covered for Rich.
I don't remember that. I thought it was just something that he had said he would do, which included with
Aguilar, where they'll work you without pay.
Emergency, like if he has a broken water line or sewer, like the meters that come up, he would call me.
Well, I think right now what's going on is he's just learning.
Yeah.
This is all new to him, this water department, and that's where we chose to use your expertise to help him. But I also have a plumbing company that is willing to come and work with him in installing meters or replacing meters and to do those things also, to train him how to do them.
Okay. Yeah, but what I'm saying is like, I come up 6 times already on the weekend just to go clean the water screen, get the samples and everything, which I didn't mind doing, help them out, but, it seemed like, that wasn't a part of the stuff that I had talked about, with the samples and doing the ORC. Cause I see, like I said, what I did was, it's pretty low rate compared to, everybody else doing it. And then also.
I don't know, I think that that's something that the board needs to review and decide where they want to go with this.
I think he should be compensated for whatever he does. Help him.
So compensated how?
Money works.
Well, I get that, Mr. Romero, but what I'm saying, an hourly rate, and what are you suggesting as an hourly rate?
$20 an hour. That would be my suggestion. I don't know if anybody else has.
Mr. Rodito?
Pretty fair.
And that would be only like to come for the ponds and everything, right?
Right.
I mean, like some of the other stuff, like the meters, I didn't, he called me, I know he needed help because he spotted, we've done that one twice and one over here. There might be another one sometime, it may be tomorrow, it could be a month from now, which, that doesn't bother me. Just like.
Would you trust this guy with your water?
What they're going to do, and if they want to give you an hourly rate, and Stephanie will keep track of your hours.
Yeah, okay.
And that's plus what I get now, right?
Yes. At least I think so. You're paying him for his licenses, right? That's what we're paying him, the 1,000, whatever it is, a month.
I thought that was work into what what you have put on there, and I don't have it with me, I'm sorry. I thought it was something for were put in there, and then you also stated that you would help out Rich by training him on something.
There's a cockroach in the water.
Yeah, no, I know I showed him a few things and then I'd come and help him, on the dig, but then all of a sudden I was asking, oh, can you come clean this? Cause he's been doing it every weekend, which I didn't mind helping him out, but, I'm using gas from Trinidad up here and back, a few hours. Usually takes him about 2 or 3.
2 hours.
About 2 then.
It's only 2 hours.
Yeah, because I think that's what it was. The first time it took me forever because I was trying to figure out when he showed me, but
Yeah, I don't have the same paper with me, but I thought that was kind of worked into what we originally received. Okay. So then let's make a motion to, amend Marty's, employment.
Part-time anyway.
Yeah. And when he comes and works the weekend, so like a part-time employee, he'll work the weekends. And in having him do that, I just don't want Rich working 7 days a week.
How are you gonna get around it?
Every other weekend is fine with me.
No, we can't have you work 7 days a week. That just
Okay.
cannot happen. And I think that at some point, I would suggest to the board that we hire a part-time person. We have to look at our budget, see where we're at, and if we have it in the budget to hire a part-time person. And then this way, Marty's not having to come on the weekends and.
Let's not forget this man was just fired.
We either pay Marty or we pay a part-time person.
No, I'm saying we can go with Marty and leave it, as is.
Okay. Him being paid to come in all the
Yeah,
time.
whenever he has to come and, but at some point, we're still going to have to bring somebody in to start training because Rich wants to go to gas. And he wants to get, OQ in gas. We had the conversation yesterday.
Good to see you, basement.
And so therefore, we're going to have somebody.
Tony Sweet, all the way from NYC.
I would like to do whatever I have to do. Gas, water, it doesn't matter. I'll do both. It doesn't matter.
seeing like Rich said, he didn't mind like every other weekend or like I done it 2 weeks in a row and then he done it and I done it last week.
What's up, Jack?
He works 5 days a week here.
Yeah.
And you don't, that's the difference. That's why I was asking you. And I know that these two have a lot on their plate. So I'm not going to I don't want to, unless I'm forced to, put him out on the field again. They've been doing it.
Yeah.
They've had to do their job in the office and they've had to do, what Rich is doing. We're not going to do that anymore.
Yeah, because I know there's some weekends not even around here. Like this weekend I'm around, probably next weekend. But like when it gets warmer, I'm usually gone, fly out on a Friday or something, come back Sunday.
So I think for now, it would be safe to say that we're going to go ahead and pay.
I love how Erlinda just makes the decisions by herself.
Whenever he has to come out and work.
We're just gonna go ahead and
Rich. And then we need to start looking for somebody to start training. A part-time person anyway to start into the new year, nothing.
Look at the rest of them just sit there and stare at her in adornment.
We good?
Yes.
Okay.
So do we need a motion?
To pay Mr. Akoka an hourly rate when he comes on the weekends and anytime he has to assist Rich.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, will I make a motion to whatever you just said?
Looks trustworthy.
Okay.
The rate of pay? The rate of pay, one.
Did you say 20?
Yeah.
How are you going to pay him when the town's broke?
At a rate pay of $20 an hour. So do I have a second? Roll call.
Mayor Pro Tem,
Yes.
Ms. Gilman.
Yes.
Mr. Romero,
Yes.
Mr. Treehill.
I'll say. I'm not sure what the contract was in the project.
Okay. We good, Mr. Koga?
Yes.
Alrighty, thank you.
This guy's worth $20 an hour, but the last guy wasn't.
Got the gentleman that's on there. We have Black and Beach. And
Last name Coca.
Ken, would you introduce him, please, and tell him?
On green now is Brandon Williams, he's one of the engineers from Black and Beach. In your packet is a proposal from Black and Beach for a design for the water storage tank for the concrete one and also the bleach storage tank. And also the chlorination room.
If I had the choice between a drunk and a pothead, I'd choose the pothead every time.
Well, there's Ken Torres here. He's a piece of shit. So,
So we applied for
and you should see what they pay him.
Along with that, we've been meeting for every month for about a year. One of the proposals that they required.
The infamous Ken Torres, huh?
So I contacted two companies.
With alleged ties.
Allegedly named in a lawsuit.
They've also done, started a PNA, which is a project need assessment that CDPHE needs so we can move forward with this process. And along with that.
Thanks for those thumbs up, guys. We appreciate you.
Find out what the estimated cost of this project is gonna cost. We can, I've already talked to Chairman Marshall with Joel, and there's funds out there, grant money to help offset the costs of this project. But this is definitely one of the needs that town of Aguilar has to move forward on. And Kira will discuss more on that when she gives the presentation. And Brandon, if you have anything you wanna state on this?
Yeah, I just want to emphasize how important this project is to the town. The rectangular tank and the green tank, those are two tanks that they're in pretty poor condition. So it's like I said, it's a very important project that really needs to get done. So
one of the things that they've already been out here to inspected both tanks and the chlorination buildings, so they've already done a complete visual inspection of what needs to be taken care of here for Aguilar.
Do you have any questions for Brandon or Ken?
I got one on the tank up there on the south side, is that the original from way back when? The one they called the reservoir? Yeah. Pretty much. They just kind of rebuilt the inside and everything.
the amount?
Yes.
Do you have any grant for it?
Yeah, that's what we're seeking, for their services and the design. And then also, we'll also seek, also funding for the, also for the construction of the recycling tanks.
At one of the meetings that with USDA and DOLA, and so once we get our audits and budgets done, we can start applying for more grants because we will have those, and DOLA has, what did she say, was that $1 million grant? It's $1 million grant to start the storage replacement. So there's, we've been looking for different types of grants, and there is grant money out there, you know, to help the town of Aguilar. But because of the situation we were in, we were unable to acquire any of this grant money. And so now that we're getting closer to the completion of audits and budgets, it's clearing the path for Aguilar to start applying for different grants, and hopefully we can get all this paid through grant money.
So how, does this come with like a, I don't know, warranty, guarantee?
Everything comes with a warranty, I mean, every
And how
time.
long is it, how?
Tell me this woman doesn't sound delusional.
Trying to hear what you're
I'm sorry.
asking.
I was asking, this service, or not service, proposal, what type of warranty or guarantee, I'm not sure what warranty is, does it come with? I mean, how long does the span?
The warranty for the services for the tank or the tank itself? See, I can't answer.
Weren't they blaming you, GCM, for not being able to get grants?
Or a tank, that's something I'd have to get in contact with one of the manufacturers or distributors for that. And that's something that I have not done.
Okay. Thank you.
They have a lot of different, which grants, but they have a lot of different, for, what am I looking for, like the chlorination stations and that are set up at these.
Couldn't have been their own corruption.
Greg Holder was showing me, and so it has a lot of where it's all electronic. You can correct me if I'm wrong. It's electronic.
I don't know about you, but I think 36,000 is a little conservative considering.
Or Rich will have it on his computer if something goes wrong with the chlorination. Those are the type, I mean, I know that it may be costly, but we may be able to get a grant for it. So it's being monitored, and it'll go to their computers and alert them that there's a problem at the storage tanks, which is also something that we want for the augmentation pump. There's a unit also there that would alert, so that way, once it's functioning, we don't have to send somebody doesn't have to go every day to go check this. It will electronically send messages to the computers if there's a problem.
So if they're all gonna be electric, would we have to look into having a generator in case electricity goes out?
No, a lot of it's solar based,
Gotcha. Okay.
or if it's hardwiring, one of the two.
Okay.
One of the things you might need is cell phone service.
Can't even fix their audio yet. They're wanting to send electronic messages to monitor stuff.
Communicate from one antenna to the other one at the bottom, and if there's a problem, they then want any kind of phone service.
What about the Zoom?
A lot of this stuff we're going through is, like satellite, phone service. Cause they're doing away with like analog, like Evergreen, we're on analog there and it's a mess, and then, Pony High School was the same thing. So, but now they want, like, internet, like cell phone service.
Well, once we get there, we can discuss this further.
Right. So are you asking the board to accept Black and,
Beach's proposal.
yeah,
And then the proposal comes, we're applying with, once you accept other services, we can start applying for some of these, design grants.
Right.
To help offset his costs, and also, through DOLA.
and then you also mentioned because we are, help me out here.
Small disadvantaged.
Right.
Disadvantaged community, we qualify, small disadvantaged community with the state of Colorado and several federal agencies. That really helps, Aguilar out because, once the needs are here for small communities, especially when you have this high senior.
And we have those needs.
So we meet all the qualifications, so once we accept this and once the audits and we get a good standard with the state, then, we can start seeking several funds, for the town of Aguilar.
So if we accept this, when we accept it, how soon would it get started?
Well, once you accept their proposal, we can start seeking the grant funding to help us pay for the design and start seeking some of it with the help of CDPHE. And Keira can discuss this more when she.
When she's up next.
Right.
And so this will all be solar operated?
No, I'm not gonna say, I'll let Brandon.
Brandon can explain that one.
Yeah.
Can you hear us,
Could you
Brandon?
repeat? Yeah, I can hear you. Could you repeat the question?
Is it all gonna be solar operated, or how is it gonna be operated?
That's something that I have to look at all together, but the electrical equipment that will be at the Green Tank site, we plan for that to be solar operated.
How's this guy zooming if the Zoom doesn't work?
You have existing power that's out there at the chlorination site. That's there we can use. So you have power that's already there that we don't have to account for new power infrastructure to come in that area, if it makes sense.
Any other questions?
And actually, this proposal here is a mandate from CDPHE for the water system because it's been out of compliance. And, we have to get this done. So it's pretty much a need for the community.
And then I would say I would motion to go.
Roll call.
Mayor Pro Tem? Ms. Gilman? Yes. Mr. Romero?
Yes.
Mr. Trujillo?
Yes.
We're good. Thank you, Brandon.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Have a good evening. Thank you.
You also.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you as well.
And here's Kira and Sarah.
You are the next contestant.
The infamous at this point. Yeah, sure. And then I'll have you come up with something. Perfect. Well, I just want to start by thanking you all for having me today. My name is Kira Gregory with the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment in the Water Quality Control Division. I'll try to avoid talking in acronyms. Us bureaucrats like to do that. So, I've been a drinking water coach with Aguilar. I started working with y'all in May of 2023. So just a little bit of context about what I do. I provide one-on-one coaching assistance to drinking water facilities throughout the state. I also provide training to boards and operators. So essentially, I help with technical, managerial, and financial issues. And what we do is called capacity building. So where you feel you might have a low capacity in one area, work with systems, it can be 2 months to 10 years. Just depends on how long you'll want to work with me. Our primary focus of coaching at this point is to build a new storage tank for you all, especially the concrete tank. In 2022, October of 2022, folks from the CDPHE came and did an inspection. It's called a sanitary survey. During that inspection, they identified that that tank essentially was faulty, right? To use that language. We requested that y'all conduct a comprehensive inspection, which is essentially where you have a diving company come in and look at the tank. That was done March of 2023, and then in May of 2023, an enforcement order was issued based on the findings of that. So essentially, a lot of the work that I have been doing, again, like I said, has been focusing on rebuilding that tank for you all. I should say with you all. Kind of the most recent work that we've done as a coaching team has been with Marty, Rich, and Linda, Stephanie, and Ken, of course. I would call this a water work group, right? I invite anybody to participate. I'll leave that up to you as a board. Essentially, our work is to respond to the enforcement order with the ultimate goal, again, of replacing that tank. But there's a lot of paperwork that goes along with it.
It's just more hands-off bullshit. They're not actually doing anything to fix the problems.
Yeah, but the problem is the lady standing at the podium, because she's the one that's supposed to be reporting back to the state, and clearly she's not doing her fucking job.
Distribution system at the chlorine residual and at the entry point, looking at the chlorine residual, and then also looking at your pressure.
Clearly.
We've got other testing that happens on a semi-annual basis.
John Eagle, good to see you, bro.
3 years. It's going to be lead and copper, disinfection byproducts, TTHM and HA5, fluoride, inorganics, and nitrate. We have some upcoming samples that are due by the end of, I believe, 2025 and 2026. And I know y'all are already looking at that and coordinating for that. So in all, in terms of tracking the water quality, things are going great. There are additional measures under the enforcement order. Essentially, we want to make sure that public health is being maintained until we can get a new tank built. That looks like weekly tank inspections with a pre-approved checklist. So that was one of the kind of items in the enforcement order that we've worked on over the past year. Drafting an emergency response plan. Part of that plan was the weekly inspections, and Rich has been conducting those. Marty and Rich actually did a walkthrough recently during one of our coaching visits so that they could all look at where are the issues and what is Rich specifically looking at and identifying. What we want to see is that none of the issues that were identified and fixed are growing, right? So like one of the problems is with the concrete, right? We want to make sure that any splits of the concrete are not increasing in size. So we talked about ways to do that, and Rich is doing that. Daily pressure checks around town. This is actually pretty easy because most of you live in the town. So that's where we're getting our pressure checks from, which is great. Like I said, that emergency response plan is in place and has been reviewed and updated with your new ORC.
Go figure that problems are escalating that aren't being addressed.
Compliance specialist and myself on a monthly basis. And I think I've been down here every month since about October, which is really good sign when we're talking about coaching. The more engagement and communication we get, the state health department gets from a community that's under enforcement, I find the better the results of the enforcement order are, right? So that's why we're in touch on a regular basis. Essentially what happens with an enforcement order is you receive a list of actions that you need to take. Aguilar is up to date with the majority of those actions, and we have, you all as a team have approved the implementation schedule. I know you presented that.
Right, and when we sent a revision on the implementation, on the audits, we asked for an extension. We had put in for December of 2024, and so we've asked to extend through March. And if we finish them before then, good, but just so that we're not pressed for time and we won't be non-compliant.
That's right. And again, it's all about communication.
Right.
Right? So you've presented due dates. We've agreed to those due dates. If there's a change in the due date due to unforeseen circumstances, which there is, right, that you don't necessarily have control over, Then you request the extension, and then our compliance team approves that, or, works with you to figure out a new timeline. So just to give you broad kind of overview of the implementation plan, I know you've seen it, but just again, as a reminder, first step is getting in what we call financial health. So that's going to be the audits and budgets, right, which you're doing great work on. Next will be the financial consultation, which Sarah with Rural Communities Assistance Corporation will talk more about. And then we get into the funding application process, which is what Ken was starting to allude to. There are design and engineering.
That's great. Let the criminal get into the funding area. That's awesome.
For those. Part of how you will get it to be even more competitive is by maintaining those audits and budgets, right? And then also by working with our CAC on that financial consultation. Essentially, we want to make sure you're a healthy person that we can lend money to or grant money. We also understand that other infrastructure projects will likely be a part of this grant process. And I think the work group on your end understands that that can't hold anything with the tank up. Do you want me to say more about that? Essentially, if you've got 10 items and one of them, 10 kind of wish list items for your water system, and one of them is the storage tank, that one needs to take priority above all of the others. And that's because it has the biggest impact.
I'd really like to know where they're getting the money to do all this.
Maybe Ken's wife is donating it.
So that's going to be the sweet spot that we're going to find as workers. Project needs assessment was a huge part of the implementation plan, so congratulations for getting that done. That's a huge step in the right direction. Contracting with engineers and construction firms, having them submit design approval to the department, and then getting construction and final engineer approval of the completed design. So that's kind of broad strokes the project that we're looking at. I think I'm going to stop there and leave time for Sarah. We will both be taking questions, so I'll want to leave the majority of the time for that. Any kind of preliminary questions before I turn it over to Sarah? Is our water safe to drink?
Just like the approval for the handicap ramp.
So I met this lady in person before, back when Tara was still working there, and yeah, she's part of the problem. She's acting like it just happened to get like this overnight or something, you know?
Well, I think the question now becomes is who's above her?
I'm also on what we call the emergency management team or the acute team. And the way that it works is as soon as we start to see data go downhill, we ask for more data.
And maybe somebody should start looking into her bank accounts.
Since I've been working as a coach with you all. I'm sure before that, but since I've had my eyes on it, I haven't seen that. So what does that actually look like? If your total call form samples start coming back positive, we know that there's an issue with the water. If the results chemical analysis start trending up, we know there's an issue with the water. Neither of those things are happening. When we talk about protecting your community from what we call waterborne disease outbreak, the safety of your water, we want to provide multiple barriers to prevent any sort of outbreak, right? First barrier is going to be chlorination. You guys have got that down. There's not been any issues with chlorination, again, since I've been working with you. Second is going to be maintaining positive pressure. When I first started working with you, there were some issues with leaks. That has since gone away. So we know we're maintaining positive pressure. As soon as there's not positive pressure, we start to get intrusion. So you can think of a pipe in the ground. As soon as it's empty, the water from the ground is going to want to get in through any leaks that there are, right? So we are maintaining that positive pressure. You all also have the added bonus of having what we call a gravity-fed system. Tanks up on the hill, sounds at the bottom of the hill. So gravity is actually pushing and providing that pressure for you all. And a really important part of the emergency plan that I'm glad you asked this question is what happens if the tank fails? The roof collapses, we start to see more issues, right? What happens if that is detected and essentially there is a flip switch so that you can bypass that? It's not ideal, but it is a potential in case there is an emergency. So with all the barriers in place, with emergency planning in place, and with consistent monitoring, which your team is providing, I do have confidence in the safety of the water. I am happy to come back and talk to more of the public to say that. I am also happy to start fielding questions from the public. I don't normally do that, but I do think that in this case it is appropriate. Thank you very much.
You'll hear some scary stories.
I bet I will.
I had a person tell me the other day, I won't shower in this town because that stuff will rot my skin. Oh, I shouldn't have any skin then.
I talked to a lot of people who think that chlorine is toxic. And sure, chlorine in large doses is toxic, but so is most of the medicine we take, right? So when we're talking about public health, it's about right size and how we think about these things. And that's where I do really want to help your community to understand all of the hard work that your water group has put in to protect your water, right? Because it's not easy work. And I think it's going unseen right now. All right, I'm gonna hand it over. Oh, yeah, yes, sir.
Yeah, I heard that Sunday at the sunset, well, the water is no good, and I go, to me it is, I go, look, and I'm drinking, and I go, I'm taking care of it. I go, I'm not drinking, I go, I'm not drinking, and then there's a different story.
What do you have for
I don't
Mr.
know
Romero?
if this has anything to do with anything, but.
Sure.
How about the lead and iron pipes that we have in town?
Yes, so,
What do we do about that?
It is definitely going unseen.
as it stands, y'all are taking samples on an annual basis. I need to look at your data, but nothing has flipped the switch in our compliance kind of trends to make us concerned about it. Moving forward, the next priority for the town is going to be identifying where the lead lines are. Once we identify where those lead lines are, there's a plethora of funding options for you to replace those lead lines. So the first step is identifying where they are. Second step is replacing them. To give you an idea, Denver started this process 15 years ago and it's ongoing. Obviously a very different scale than what y'all are dealing with, but it does take time. If anyone is concerned about lead in their water, we can talk about those results. If you all invite me back, I'm happy to set up a presentation about your data that you've got. Yeah, I'll leave it there. All right, I'll be back up for more questions. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Hello, thank you for having me as well. I'm Sarah Everhart. I'm with the Rural Community Assistance Corporation, which is a nonprofit. We're funded through a variety of different sources, federal contracts and state contracts, that kind of thing. And I do a lot of the same things that Kira does. I'm a technical assistance provider for drinking water and wastewater systems, and also do technical, managerial, and financial technical assistance. So I'm working here. I started working with Aguilar August of 2024, so not too long ago. And essentially, I'm going to be doing the financial part with you guys. So we'll be doing a rate consultation, and the goal of the rate consultation is to make sure that the water enterprise is in the black, so it's fully funded, and to make sure that you guys are a good candidate for a loan for replacing your water tank. So those are kind of our big goals there. So essentially, I'm going to be working with town staff to get budget information, financial information, information from the audit, and we're going to put that together to get some key indicators and to develop a 5-year forecast for the rates. And essentially, we're going to be getting the debt coverage ratio. That is going to be one of our big indicators. It's going to kind of tell us
The information is they're broke.
need to service a debt, and that will be important information for funders as well. We'll also be looking at ending net position for different reporting windows, and that kind of gives us financial health of the system And we'll be doing an operating ratio, which is essentially the amount of money that you guys are bringing in and then able to spend on operating. And those are our key indicators that we'll be looking at. And then we'll be doing some rate forecasting for you and doing some rate recommendations. And just some things to keep in mind. You guys haven't raised rates in 20 years, so there might be a rate increase. We also heard from our auditors that the water enterprise is not currently operating in the black, so that will also be a part of this rate consultation. And, you know, the rate recommendations are going to be meant to help Aguilar reach its goals for the water system, and really to be proactive with the infrastructure and with your financial sustainability for the future. Yeah.
And then tell Mr. Romero, tell us about the grant that.
Oh, yes. Yeah, so we also worked on the assistance grant, and we applied 2 weeks ago or so. And this assistance grant is for up to $25,000. And we applied for the pumps for the wells, as well as the meters.
To replace some water meters.
Yes, to replace some of the water meters, and as well for the installation of the water meters. And yeah, I think, when do we find out?
Late January, early February.
That's, yeah, we'll find out if you all have received that assistance grant.
The way it works is it's a small, we call them mini grants, and you have to use it within the calendar year. And it has to be used for infrastructure. Those are really the 2 parameters of money. So.
And the day that we applied for it, the crump, that well went down. So we threw that in right away. So if we qualify for the $25,000, that would be, we would return that money back to the town for the replacement of that pump well, and then take care of Mauricio well, and then replace water meters that need replacing.
Just be careful with back paying. Some grants don't allow it. I'm not sure about this one, so I'll have to get back to you.
Okay.
Sorry, one other thing. You're talking about water meters and whatever. How about backflow preventers? Are we supposed to have installed those in a lot of the places in town?
No.
No?
Actually, on the commercial building, the business has to do it themselves, and it has to be inspected by the state.
I thought we were supposed to be doing it on residential property also.
No.
No?
No.
So the way the rule works is it's all non-single family residential connections. So it would be your waterworks, any public works, and then anything that's not a single family. So apartment complexes, schools, fire departments. I did some preliminary work. That is one of my goals with Rich this year, and Marty, is to essentially resurvey and start the process of making sure that there are backflow preventers where they need to be. Jen is correct in saying that the majority of municipalities in Colorado put the burden of paying for installation, repair, testing of the devices on the customer. Now, when that comes to a municipal building, you all would be the customer, right? So that's how that works out. But yes, it's on our to-do list for sure. Just not a part of the enforcement order, so it's kind of taking a back seat right now.
One other question.
Yes, sir.
Is there any kind of way for us to figure out what kind of a rate increase to put onto the water, gas, and whatever?
It's a survey that needs to be done correctly. And Aguilar hasn't had, we were looking at it the other day, huh?
You haven't had one for a long time.
20 years on.
So essentially the way that our funding works is we can only do drinking water, but I think Sarah will lay out very clearly the process to determine what your rates should be. And then you all as a board will decide that. I would imagine that that process could be applied to gas as well. It's just not something that we could help do. I can look into if there are technical assistance providers for other utilities though.
Yeah, and essentially the way it works is we're gonna be looking at, your revenue sources, your operating expenses, and then also debt service expenses. And, kind of, subtracting that out of the revenue and seeing how much more revenue you all need to cover those expenses. And to put some aside to replace infrastructure needs. So, I mean, that's basically how we're gonna do it. Yeah.
So it will be our job to pursue grants over loans. I just want to make it clear that that is a major priority of this. Of course, we can't say what the state gives us. I wish. No guarantee, but there is quite a bit.
Can everybody read the body language in the room?
I think that's one of the things that when we have meetings and materials we've read, that's a big important, and it's, is that there is grant money out there.
And I kind of see it as there's two parallel goals that are accelerating at the same time right now. One is financial health, right? Which the audits, budgets, work with Sarah. And then the other is actually application and, design process. And they're both progressing really well, especially since July. So your team is doing a great job.
Thank you.
Claps for them indeed. I forgot my cards, which I sincerely apologize for, but.
The body language is dead.
Any questions, concerns, right? Anything, we're here for you. So thank you for having us.
Thank you for coming. Thank you.
90% of this board has one foot in the grave.
12.1, to appropriate sums of money. An updated resolution to appropriate.
Maybe more than that if they've been drinking the water.
Thank you, ladies. Thanks, Ken. In the amount and for the purpose set forth below for the town of Aguilar, Colorado for the 2024 budget year. Whereas the annual property taxes from 10/21/2021 to 10/12/2022 were placed on hold with the Los Animas County until the 2020 audit was completed and filed with the state auditor's office. And whereas it is not only required by law, but also necessary to appropriate the revenues provided in the budget to and for the purpose described below. Hereby establishing a limitation on expenditures for the operation of the town. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Trustees of the town of Aguilar, Colorado, Section 1, that the following sums are hereby appropriated from the revenue of each fund for the purposes stated. General fund, current operating expenses, $82,017.14. Total general fund, $82,017.14, adopted this 19th day of December 2024. Can I get a motion to,
Wait, I want to ask something. I don't know how to put it in anything that makes any sense, but if you have a current operating expense of 82,000, and you're saying that you have a credit amount of 82,000 or debit amount of 82,000.
we have we will have in the morning, once if this is approved, the $82,000 and $17. I mean, $17 and 14 cents will be deposited in the morning.
Deposited from where?
From where or to where?
Where are you getting the money from to deposit it?
We have a check. I picked it up from the,
82,000?
for the property taxes.
Okay, that's all I wanna know.
This was earlier when I read
Yeah.
that utility
I
report.
remember it now, thank you. Motion to,
Appropriate sums of money.
appropriate the sums of money.
I second that. Mayor Pro Tem,
Yes.
Ms. Gilman. Yes. Mr. Romero.
Yes.
Mr. Trujillo.
Yes.
Just push it through, boys.
Obviously, the mayor's running the show here, not the board.
Or had already been approved from the November.
And they've gone through the bank already, so the ones that are checked off were either automatic withdrawals that come out.
I had already asked.
Yeah, debit cards, you know, if we put gas, had to buy postage, so anything with the check marks already gone through the bank and cleared.
Do we still owe MGM?
We do, and so that is, out of, the augmentation fund. Those are the things that Cam and Jerry McDaniel, they, you know, they're aware. And this is where I told CFL now that Jerry, that I will use Jerry and Cam because they have the punch list. They're, you know, they know what is owed back to Aguilar and what we owe out, but MGM is owed still.
Because a lot of that work they did on that, the other side of it, that was part of that.
Augmentation fund or that? Yeah. So MGM and then, you're talking MGM or SGM?
MGM.
That is,
Michael Marcus.
that is a part of the augmentation fund, correct?
Not all of them.
But,
No, because they had done a
well,
lot of
no,
work.
we have some that is, the town is responsible for. We just hadn't had the money to start paying them. And then we have a couple of them that they did that, are questionable as to who owes that money. So until we get that straightened out, we'll start making payments to them. But we will, I mean, what the town owes them for, we will start paying them, and then whatever, the augmentation fund owes them, they'll get that. Questions?
I have a couple.
Could you give us the, number instead of the name?
13150
How did I know that was gonna be one?
and Diamond Enterprises.
So the first,
13150 is,
sorry, I didn't know this.
what is it called?
So the one,
3150.
150, that one is for building permits. So
Several building
several.
permits
I
that
believe
were,
there were 5 of them that were from, yes,
Yes.
that had never been signed off on, so he got those done and it was half of each building permit fee, but I had about 5 or 6 of them. And he just got them taken care of this week, and I think he did a couple of them last week for me as well, so. And then the other one is, yep, that one was for 2 past invoices, and I have them right here. I believe they were from,
we just found that out. And
so
then what else?
they were from September and October, and they, yes, that stuff that hadn't been approved till recently.
Yes, that's the one she's talking about.
Yeah, so that one was 2 invoices, one from September and one from October that we hadn't
And
paid.
we just paid, so he's paid in full as far as, through November?
October, so I believe he does have an invoice for November and December. He was waiting till the end of December to submit it. So we're paid in full with him through October.
You guys are getting invoices for all this stuff, right?
Yes, yes. And I do have a Mr. Romero, if you ever want to look at him.
I just want to make sure.
Yeah.
you're getting invoices.
Yeah, and he does, he sends an invoice and it's got the date and what he did for each day. So if anybody wants to see him, I do have him with me.
And we, did, assigned for, so we're paid up completely with the lights in the garage, right? So that was taken care of. We don't have that payment anymore.
That's on 13151.
Yep. And that, payment for Aflac, that should be our last one. We canceled it.
It took a minute with trying to get the paperwork because we had to get the old administrator off and get Erlinda on, so it took a while to get the paperwork, so they would let us cancel.
What did we get from Ringo's Food Market for $200?
That was the gift cards.
I'm just curious because
That was for Thanksgiving.
that reminds me, what's going to happen for Christmas?
That's up to the board. We can cut that check tomorrow.
No, I'm talking about what days of the.
Oh, they're like, oh, yeah, very early, early present, Mr. Romero?
No, I'm talking presents here. Wednesday, Thursday, or?
Tuesday, Wednesday.
Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, you only have to return on Thursday and Friday.
All right.
And unless you want to give us Monday off too.
Yeah.
Or Thursday and Friday.
Yeah.
Just joking.
You should have sold us your vacation.
Right, well, we couldn't take it, so.
Yeah, because they have to do
I
the
couldn't be
meter
on
reads
vacation,
and-
I'd just be worried to death of what was happening here.
Oh, we could put you on Zoom.
Can I just say I'm working from home?
No, I'm sorry.
We don't do working from home anymore.
No more.
Okay, so are we ready to approve the bills?
Any other questions?
I got one more.
Okay.
Mr. Garcia. You keep paying the guy, and the guy never shows up.
Well, the attorney told us to go ahead and retain him because we were planning on either get a code enforcer or a marshal. And that way,
Okay, so we're getting the code enforcement. Well, we've worked on it. He likes to participate in it. So we need to get a hold of the guy.
We can fly drones.
Yeah, you can find one.
Well, they were gonna look at the other gentleman for the quote.
we're gonna advertise it, re-advertise it is what you all approved on.
Yes, right. Would you like to use that?
Yeah, it was Martinez, I believe.
Zachary.
Anything else?
Can I ask one more?
Yes.
I was under the impression that the CCOM came into town and started setting up the equipment that they were going to give Aguilar a free account because they let him into the town. That's not true, apparently.
You know what, I don't know, that could be something we could look into, but I'm gonna tell you, and I know that you looked at it, but like the municipal, the book, the codes, everything. The board actually needs to get that approved so that we can get that muni book done.
I thought we had approved the new book for whatever.
The book you approved was for the gas.
I thought it was for the whole.
No, that was for the gas so that we would be in compliance with, PHMSA.
Isn't there a,
And we were gonna get, was it,
The board doesn't even know what's going on.
like, get us a quote on what it would cost for the muni book so we can get it done? Because I find that it is a wasted time for these girls and anybody else that comes and, is trying to find an ordinance, because they're scattered everywhere and they're not. And this way, if it's organized, you just, open the book and go where you need to go.
And then just send me an email with the quote in it that he had given us previously.
So we were gonna reach out and get a new one, cause it's
Right.
And how much was it then?
It was dependent on which one they wanted to go with, which there was 3 different tiers that you could go with. And he sent prices for all 3.
What's give us a guesstimate of what it was. Oh, never mind. Just get us the actual quote.
the thing that I was thinking about was the building codes or something? Isn't there, we're working on 2017.
We were getting upgrade on our, building codes.
That's what I thought we had agreed to do. And then we were supposed to get a hold of the San Luis County to see if they had any changes to it that we can incorporate into it. That's what we talked about at the last meeting.
I thought we delegated that to you under your
No,
project.
you did not.
Yeah, because you have, wait, Mr. Romero,
You did it for her, not me.
isn't that come under your workshop?
No,
You're making it?
no,
Or I don't know what it is there.
to me, it's part of the administration.
No?
No, it's not.
Okay,
it was maintenance.
I'll tell you what, I'll take care of that. You come and do administrative.
No, that's, you jumped into that yourself. I didn't help you.
Yes, you did. You did, Mr. Romero.
So are we gonna
It is on our-
these bills?
Okay, do we have any more questions?
Motion to approve the bill.
I second.
And we will, look into CCOM. And then also that one that I gave you all the paperwork for, that SIPA, the government, they have grant money. That's the one where I told you guys where they would do, our audio, it pays for screens, the internet, for I don't know how long. And it will provide us with all the upgrades. And then we won't use Gmail, we'll use like .gov or something that is protected.
Yeah.
That was a recommendation that came from, DOLA. So there's grant money to apply for that.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Yes.
Ms. Gilman? Yes. Mr. Romero?
Yes.
Mr. Trujillo?
Yes.
This board is incompetent.
There were solar via the sewer line.
Well, that's, he has not been working for.
You think?
Recycling down at the sewer ponds.
You ever go down there?
They don't want the responsibilities, they just want the money.
I saw where that tractor disappeared. I don't want to.
Don't get that close.
Anyway,
Don't get
that
that
thing
close.
has not been working for months. And I have been trying to get Richard.
You get in the canoe, Bob, and go
Oh,
out
that's
there.
what I wanted her Linda to do. She floats better than me.
Sue, that's kind of
Get
like
you a
what
wetsuit,
Thurston
Bob.
wanted us to do with that tractor, right? They wanted us to go fish it out of the pond.
Well, anyway, I've gone out and looked at, solar bees out on the internet. And I can't get a price on it. They always want to send
Right,
in my email address and everything else.
right.
So I don't know what it would cost to either replace it or fix it.
Do you think we have paperwork?
Does anybody
Well,
have
Ken
a clue?
was,
Back when we used to repair this thing all the time. Sarah, do you remember?
We probably had
Just
employees
because
then.
we just had somebody at the beginning of the year come out.
Huh?
But we have somebody at the beginning of the year come out but that thing's like 20 years old, all the parts are obsolete on it.
And
Probably
today,
need to look into replacing it.
today Ken actually brought up too
Bob's got
that,
it right there.
Put Bob in the canoe.
No,
You can't bring up Dave.
something about in Cokedale or Starkville, they just went with a new thing because they had a solar bee and it.
Oh, we had aerators there. Those aerators, Levita, Cokedale, and a few other ones. We had some in Walsenburg, and people don't care if they flush. And I told Cokedale, I go, you know what, in about a year or two, they're gonna go out. We went through them, now we went with this one, the guy's name is Dave. In fact, I just talked to him yesterday. And what it is the motor is outside on the ground. And it's real quiet, and then the hoses go down, you can open a valve, and it floats down and it bubbles up. Where there's no, and then if they get clogged a little, then you open one up, float up, and maybe you have to wash them off, maybe not. And then, blow them out, and we've had them in Cokeville for a few months now, and it was, he actually was doing a test on them to show how everything worked. Some of they work good, the results are good, and now they're going for a grant to actually pay for it, that and a bar screen.
I've seen some out on the internet for less than 500.
What are we
They were
looking for?
doing 1 acre. It's, the replacement of the solar beam. It's not just me.
Dave was supposed to call you guys, and I told him to call and
You know
explain.
what, we got something from somebody. They've got SMO.
Yeah, you can't say
LJAN.
yeah.
Yeah.
Where's he from?
I can't say it.
I can say it.
Where's he from? Where, you know Marty? Where's he from?
Yeah, he's out up by,
He's up north.
Johnstown or somewhere up that way.
And when Ken saw it on the agenda, he brought up if we have a solar bee, they're paying they keep breaking. And so a lot of the towns around here are going to this other thing. And he said that there might be.
I got a call on that. We went to Cokeville on that. I told him to call here and talk to you guys, because he'll come and do like a demonstration to show you what it'll do. I mean, if you, I don't know how often you go down to Trinidad.
Well, if you'll get us the information and I will ask him to do, to meet with the board and then give us a demonstration or whatever it is that he needs to do.
Do you have his phone number on there?
We got his email address and his company's address. Email. Oh yeah, there's a phone number.
303.
588-6700.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, let's call him and
Yeah, we'll set something up with him.
send something up so he can come down and talk to us.
Mr. Romero, if you'll call him and,
No comprendo inglés.
mira, pero te voy a hablar en
No, no. No comprendo español.
I even do
tampoco.
sign language. Okay,
You want me to give him a call?
yes, please.
All right.
Okay.
Sue. Before we go, let's do the trees.
Okay.
What's up with these trees?
I don't know, Mr. Romero.
When they went down and they cleaned out the irrigation ditch that runs by the solar pump,
They?
Robbie Badino and Company,
Uh-huh.
way on the north end side, there was a bunch of trees that had grown inside.
The irrigation ditch.
So they knocked them all down.
They were told to.
And they're still there. So what I was gonna ask is, I've got a couple of veterans that used firewood for heating. I was wondering if the board would be okay for one of them to go down there and cut it all up and remove it.
I have some too.
I don't see why not. I mean, if it's just
They're-
there,
they're not-
anybody, I mean,
They're not there to go, they're not gonna sell it.
They're not.
They're gonna
No,
sell it.
that's what I'm saying.
Them trees are not going anywhere, you know.
I don't see why.
Yeah,
Go
we
get 'em.
don't see,
Okay. Well, I don't know.
Tell them to go get them.
All right.
And tell them they can drop some of it off.
Okay, and
I don't do none of that no more.
before we go to item J, I'm not sure what happened to, the tractor. We were supposed to discuss that, but I think, good night, Marty.
See you, Marty.
Sarah mentioned Mr. Romero had some suggestions.
Well, one of the things that I noticed is that Bernie Larson and I bought the one that supposedly went into the sewer ponds for $5,000. And we got a bushel and a postal digger. But there was no bucket on it. And there was a cap on it. We'll get $5,000. I don't know whatever happened to this thing. And now the insurance company is sending the town a bill for, I mean, a check for $20,000.
Wah, wah, wah.
And that doesn't even include the book.
Because I'm not sure when you bought it. Are you saying because that wasn't enough money?
Actually, wait.
Wait,
That's way too much money.
no, it's not. Because it's the price of what one would cost nowadays to replacement.
But I was telling Sarah that the bush hog was not included in the price.
You know what, I'm gonna be honest with you, this was 3 years ago that this incident took place.
Yeah.
And nobody ever bothered, to take care of this, and we just tried it,
You
and
kept asking and nothing ever happened.
it did now.
Well, I also suggested that you get something with a cabinet, because if we're gonna use this thing in the winter time to do snow, nobody's gonna wanna just sit on a
Do
damn
you
seat out
use it for snow? I don't think that you can.
It's got a bucket on the damn
Wait,
thing.
I'm trying to find it.
No, but
I don't know where it's
You
ever
got it.
put it. Oh, there it is.
We use the backhoe for that, don't we?
Yeah, but it's got a bucket.
Can
But
you
we also
use
have a
this
truck that has the plow on the front.
snow removal? It can't be used for snow removal.
Why not?
I have no idea. I don't remove
we
snow.
don't need it for snow removal. We have the backhoe, Bob.
Well, I know, but if we get something like this, we can use it for snow removal because it's got a bucket.
Yeah,
What
we could.
What we need it for is for cutting weeds and all that stuff around the town.
Exactly.
But if we get it with a bucket, you can still use it for snow removal.
That one don't have a bush hog on it.
I know it doesn't. That's why I told Sarah about it today. That the insurance
That's what
company
we
was not
need.
aware of the bush hog that went into the pond with that old tractor.
We need something that'll cut the weeds around town.
Yes. I agree with you.
So are we gonna tell the state we don't want this money?
No.
That's what it sounded like to
No,
me.
no.
So
No,
this is
no.
just a suggestion?
No.
I understand that. That was a suggestion.
So you can shop around.
We can shop
We
around
have
and
money
find
for it.
what we want. Do we have the $20,000?
We do.
So we can spend it the way we want, right?
That's exactly
On a
right.
tractor.
We actually thought that according to that email, we thought they sent, Rustler, the check. And that we just had to, because they were gonna deliver it for free.
I thought the check was down here.
It is.
They sent Lester the check.
We thought
No,
they
we
did.
thought they were going to. but they
According
sent it
to
us.
the email, we thought they sent it to the company and they were gonna deliver. And then next thing we know, it came in the mail to the town of
Oh,
Aguilar.
so you have the check.
We have the check.
Yeah, so if you read it down here, it says they were sending the $21,100. And the town would receive the invoice for the $500
Right,
deductible for the.
so
tractor.
it says it was sent, they were gonna send it, and I don't know why, but they send it directly to the town.
Yeah, it says they were gonna send us the tractor.
They're,
Probably get two for the price of one.
If you notice, it's 21,100 and the cash price was 20,000.
yeah, but
And we pay the $500 deductible on it, so that's what it would cost us if we went with this
that,
service.
and
Well, maybe people still pay the $500.
Right, we do, but I'm just saying, I don't know what it is that you want to do with that $20,000 check in the replacement of this tractor. So if you wanna look around,
that's what we wanna do.
you're welcome to it.
That's what we wanna
We
do.
want a Kubota.
Kubota.
I got a Coyote.
No, you know which ones, you see them all the time. It's John Deere or Kubota, no, whatever you decide to look around
We'll look
for.
around, we'll look around, we got time.
So far, it's got some down here. Ken Road, they have a tractor company up there.
We don't need it till spring, correct?
Right.
Because that's pretty much what we had thought once the board, had seen this. And we said, well, I don't know how much room we have right here. And we were gonna just tell them not to deliver till spring.
No.
But you can look around then.
That's what
Can we look around?
Okay,
okay. What about this 2025 budget?
Sarah?
So we've been working on getting that ready, but we need to get the advertisement out that we're going to be posting it or whatever. That way we can approve it in January, because we're already late getting it approved. So we gotta be able to approve it in January, and if she can get the ad in tomorrow, it won't run till next week. But then we can get the budget and then everybody can get their copy or come in and see it.
Have you got it ready?
We're
We're
working on
almost
it.
there.
We're almost there, but we just wanted to get approval to go ahead and run the ad like we did the last time.
Sure.
So that way it'll be ready come January.
Very good.
We're looking for,
We just
Is that what you
need a
want?
motion to approve the 2025 budget.
No, not approve it, to
I
run the
mean,
ad.
to run the ad,
Yeah.
sorry.
I make a motion that we approve the ad for the 2025 budget.
second,
Roll call.
Mayor Virgin,
Yes.
Ms. Gilman,
Yes.
Mr. Romero,
Yes.
Mr. Trio.
yes.
All right, let's accept this 2021 draft.
So I need, the board's acceptance, not approval, an acceptance of the 2021 draft audit so that I can, do the acceptance letter for Jim Ray so that he can submit it to the state.
Question for you. Where is it at so we can look at it?
I have one here, you can look at.
I don't have one.
And because it is a draft, it's not for, public viewing yet.
Yeah, it's not in this packet that I have.
She actually had them, made up already. She'll just grab it. So anyway, we just have to accept so that it can go to the state. And it's accepting it as is. And he gave you the rundown on the audit.
Folks, you can't make this shit up.
I motion to accept this 2021 draft audit as is.
Second? Gerald? Roll call?
Mayor Pro Tem,
Yes.
Ms. Gilman,
Yes.
Mr. Romero,
Congressman.
Mr. Trill.
Yes.
Okay, one more thing. I put this in here for the board. The Los Animas County site, they're looking for volunteers for the Red Cross is providing training and vetting of volunteers. So if any of you are interested, they're doing staffing shelters throughout Los Animas County in case of any incident. Just in case you're all interested, that was it. And if we have nothing further,
Move that we adjourn.
I make a motion that we adjourn, or can I get a motion to adjourn?
You do. I second it.
Meeting
Why would you need a motion? You're running the fucking show, schmuck.
Ms. Gilman,
Yes.
Mr. Romero,
Yeah.
Mr. Trill.
Yes.
Meeting adjourned.
All right, guys. Appreciate you being here. It's been real. Oh, shit show. Appreciate you being up here, John Nicola. Thanks, Dan.
Good night, everyone.
Catch you on the next one.
Good night, y'all. Thanks, GCM, for having me.
Appreciate all those thumbs up, guys. Everybody that stopped in. About 100 of you. Let's see, 112 of you stopped in. Appreciate y'all. Thank you.
Stephanie for prison!
No shit, huh? All right, guys. Later.